Hello, geography students. This is Mrs. Politsky. I have your notes for Chapter 7, Section 3, Mexico Today. So, number one, Mexico is a democratic government. And in the year 2000, Vicente Fox, who you see pictured below, was elected president of Mexico, marking the first change in political parties that controlled government for roughly 71 years. Currently, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador is the current president of Mexico, as you see pictured off to the right here. Mexico is a developing country and it has struggled with debt, deformed banks, unemployment, inflation. Mexico's economy today is a little different than what it was in the past because the government has less control over what is happening. And number four, agriculture in Mexico is limited to about 12% of the land. Many farmers have used slash and burn agricultural techniques to clear the land for planting. And as a result, there's some issues. I mean, as far as the fertility of the land, issues with changes in climate and such. Mexican farmers have also grown cash crops such as vegetables and fruits to sell in the United States. But Mexico's fastest growing industries uh, centers lie along its borders with the United States because foreign countries have built factories there. Companies like Volkswagen, Ford have deals with some of their American partners and European partners to make parts of like cars in Mexico, ship them across the border, maybe into the United States for other parts. And in a way, this kind of drives prices down, but it also helps with employment and things like that in Mexico. Moving on. Number six, tourism is a huge part of Mexico's economy, especially along the coastal cities of Cancun or on the western side with Acapulco. In 2004, Mexico's economy set a record for tourism with around 20.6 million international tourists visiting. Mexico City is the world's third or second largest city with a population of roughly 19 million, maybe a little bit more than that today. As a result of its population size, Mexico City has experienced issues, and pollution just happens to be one of them from factories, automobile exhaust, and other pollutants, which has created things like smog issues. Poverty is a huge problem in Mexico as well, not just Mexico City, but throughout the nation. The poor in Mexico City live in huge urban slums. They're often located right next to the modern buildings. Other cities, for example, the city of Tijuana, which is borders the American city of San Diego, California, um, is an example of this as well. Tijuana, if you go across the border, um, housing and things like that are literally stacked on top of one another. And yet you cross the border into California and you see that things have been a little more planned as far as urban planning with streets and green spaces and things of that nature. Number eight, Central Mexico, a region kind of north of Mexico City, has some architectural characteristics of colonial cities and towns, colonial churches or churches that kind of date back to when the Spaniards had colonized and, kind of basically were bringing in their influence, really do reign in that part of the country. You have central squares and plazas that kind of mimic that of things that you would see in places like Spain. Northern Mexico and southern Mexico, things are a little different economically. In northern Mexico, it is one of the world's or country's richest areas. Part of that is because it's industrialized, has many foreign owned factories. Southern Mexico has subsistent farming, which basically means that farmers only grow what they can produce for themselves and their families. There's little industry. There is production of oil and other agricultural products. The maquiladoras, these are U.S. and foreign-owned factories that have been built in these regions, and they kind of have this name. Number 10, many Americans are choosing to settle permanently in Mexico due to the low cost of living, warmer climate, and relaxed way of life. If you think about it like this, if a person is an American, they move to Mexico, their American dollars actually go much further in Mexico than they would in the United States. And hence, that's the reason why some Americans and even Canadians have opted to move to Mexico because of that. The city of Monterrey, which is kind of south of like Laredo, Texas, is Mexico's third largest city, and it is a leading industrial center. During the U.S. Civil War, the Confederacy used it as a staging post for its cotton exports. Today, many of the city's residents are bilingual, meaning that they speak both Spanish and English. Baseball is one of the most popular sports there. Uh, Really modern parts of the city kind of resemble cities like Texas and California. The largest state in Mexico happens to be the state of Chihuahua. Chihuahua is kind of located just a little bit south of places like El Paso, Texas, a little bit of the corner of New Mexico here. Six Mexican states do border the United States. You have Baja California, which is kind of in this vicinity. You got Sonora, uh, Mexico, which is just literally south of Arizona. You have Chihuahua that I just mentioned. You have Coahuila, which is kind of south of Texas as well. You have uh, Nuevo Leon, which is kind of in this vicinity, and you have Tamaulipas, which is kind of right south of like Corpus Christi. Anyway, the southern states of Oaxaca and also Chiapas are two of the states in Mexico with strong Indian influences and a presence. Both states have magnificent ruins built by ancient civilizations. So the Zapotec and the Mixtec are kind of part of the Oaxaca. And when we talk about the Mayan, then that's part of the Chiapas. All right. Thank you very much.